Welcome to the Entrepreneur Motivation Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Bello. Today, I've got Colin Yurcisin on the show. Colin, welcome.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you having me on, man.
It's great to have you. And you are coming at us from Miami. Is that correct? You're in Florida, right?
Correct. I am coming live from Miami.
Live from Miami. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? I've been following you for a while, and I saw you speak in person at an event that like a mutual friend threw. But for those who do not know you just yet, who is Colin Yurcisin?
Yeah, so my name is Colin Yurcisin. I live in Miami. I'm 25 years old. I would classify probably as a serial entrepreneur. I own two businesses. One is Leverage Lifestyle. So Leverage Lifestyle, I coach over 700 people in how to master a personal brand, then how to get credit, personal and business credit, where to then put that money. So then we invest in passive income streams, which would be e-commerce and real estate. Then we travel the world because obviously when you're spending all the money on the credit card, you're going to get a ton of points. Right. And then you don't want to spend any of your money. You want to spend your money, your profits in Bitcoin, and then you spend the bank's money on your business. So the last pillar is Bitcoin there. So I teach over 700 people on all of those pillars. And then we have live guests every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. And we have people from every single space. You know, we had Jeff Seckinger on last week, who is probably the biggest crypto guy in Miami. We have people like Gary Brecka, who is a master at biohacking and health. He just got bought out by Grant Cardone. They're doing a company together. So we just have incredible people on. That's one company. And then the other company is Leverage Investments. Now, this is an e-commerce automation company where we help our clients create second streams of income. Our goal is to get all of our clients to a six-figure income with this passive income stream on Amazon, Walmart, and Facebook Marketplace. We do the customer service, we do the fulfillment, the orders, we automate everything for them. And then obviously I'm a credit expert, so I help them get credit for those stores so that they can spend other people's money. They don't have to spend their own. Once again, you get points, travel the world for free, and you get passive income. So you get the best of both worlds. I'm an avid Bitcoiner. We were just talking before. I'm just so, enamored every day with what's going on in the world, right? There's so much freedom being stripped away right in front of our eyes. So I'm a freedom maximalist. I wouldn't say I'm a Bitcoin maximalist. I'm supportive of everything, the whole metaverse, like there's so much going on, right? I'm not going to sit there and say Bitcoin is the only thing that will ever exist.
Right.
So I personally, just do Bitcoin. That's all I buy. That's all I hold. And that's it, man. That's pretty much how I am now. But if you were going to ask me, how were you 2.5 years ago is a whole nother story. And then also, I've traveled the world the past 2.5 years. I have an amazing girlfriend who I live with. And that's pretty much it.
Very cool. Very cool. So what's been one of your favorite travel spots? I know I kind of saw one of your stories or one of your posts when you were kind of recapping how you were starting off trying to wholesale properties and real estate, and you were struggling and you're like taking deals from this certain apartment complex. I was like, dude, that whole, I think I replied to you, was like, that's super motivational just to hear. Cause I actually am in the real estate space, and man, it takes people a long time to get that first deal. But from there to where you are now, I know you started traveling kind of like at the beginning of 2020, which obviously was not the ideal place or time to travel. But what's been one of your favorite places that you've been to so far?
Yeah. So, just to backdrop on that, I did start traveling the world in 2020, right when COVID started. So it was funny, my goal when I quit my job was like, I give myself a 6-month window to figure out how to make money online. I was like, by January, I'm moving out of Scottsdale and I'm traveling the world somehow. And I made it happen. So I actually created my first business credit class. And January, I think like 10th, I was on a business class flight to Bali. So I moved to Bali, one-way ticket. So yeah, I started off my year in 2020 in Bali. This was still right before COVID hit. So luckily I was able to travel, no problems, no mask. Did Bali, I did Dubai, and I did London, those 3 spots. And then I headed home. That's when I met you at the event. I went to the Grant Cardone 10X event too, right after that. And then COVID shut everything down. When COVID hit, I flew directly to Hawaii. Right when they announced the pandemic on the news, and I booked a Marriott. I'll never forget. It was it was the Westin Villas in Maui. And with my hacks that you obviously have to take my course to find out, I was able to get a 2-bedroom penthouse in Maui at a Westin for like $129 a night.
Dang.
So I booked it for 2 weeks.
That's
so
awesome.
I had this camp out. Everyone's freaking out all over the place. My business has just started making money and I'm camped out in Maui, just kind of just like, holy shit. Like the world is collapsing. And like, I'm in a good spot right now. So yeah, I would say though, back to your original question, I think the best place I've traveled, there's two that are like, that have my heart. Maldives is by far one of the craziest, most exotic, dreamy places. You really feel like you're, on another planet.
Awesome.
When we were driving our jet skis, from we stayed at the St. Regis, and we just drove our jet skis like 2 miles out of our little island. And there's all these other little beautiful islands that you can just ride around.
That's
and
cool.
Dude, you're in the middle of the Indian Ocean and it's just turquoise blue. It's crazy. So that's number one. And then number two would have to be Positano, Italy. I just went there this summer and that was the most beautiful, hands down place I've ever been in Europe.
Love it. There's so many places that are on the bucket list, and like I've traveled quite a bit as well. I mean, I think I got my first taste in 2014. I went to Oktoberfest in Germany. I was living in the Middle East at the time, and my company that I was with, I was still working corporate. They were paying for me to live out there for 6 or 7 months. And then I got to go over to Oktoberfest, Munich, and that kind of started the bug where I'm like, dude, this is fun. Not knowing what language people are speaking, trying foods that I've never seen, not seeing like the traditional Subway and Pizza Hut everywhere. It's like, oh, what's that? Or there's a car that I've never seen before, right? Like if you've been to Japan, you're like, I've never seen this tiny little box car, but like the Scion TC or whatever I forget the models, but I'm like, dude, I've seen some of it, but it's so different. And your mind just expands as you are exposed to other cultures and ideas.
Yeah.
So I wrote that down because I'm just always curious. I have not been to the Maldives, have not been to Positano, Italy, or Italy in general. So that's going to be on the bucket list for sure. But now that your life is like totally different, I love that you said you were sharing that story. And I mean, I'm sure you should probably post that again somewhere because it's just super inspirational for everyone who follows you or looks at your stuff. How have things changed? Obviously, your mindset's changed, your lifestyle's changed. I see you do gratitude every morning, but like, how much have you evolved, would you say, in the last 2 years? And what was like the catalyst for it? What got you started?
Yeah, man. I really had a 180 degree change. I mean, if you would have found me like 3 years ago and said, what's up to me? I mean, you would have said, there's no way that kid is Colin Yurcisin. Like, it's just crazy. It really is. I feel like I am a totally different person. And in Bali, I got this tattoo right here. It's 23 in Roman numerals. I got that right when I got there. I was like, I'm getting myself stamped so that I can never go back to how I was before this age. So I turned 23 and I was like, this is it. Like, I'm going to create a whole new version of myself. But yeah, man, I mean, basically, I started off on my path, like the good path. I feel like there's like a light in my life, and then there was the darkness in my life, and it still shows up in everyone's life here and there. But yeah, I started out being super creative as a kid. So I was telling my mom when I was like 5 years old that I owned a company called Calendana, and that's actually what I named my first 3 LLCs. So I made it come true. So I actually do own a company named Calendana. But yeah, I was telling her, I was like, yeah, I got this company. We take our employees, we go on, excursions, we do jet skis. Like, I'm just super imaginative kid. And then I get into photography early on. I download Instagram right away, right when it comes out. I get on YouTube in 2008. I get I started doing levitating videos, and one of them blew up to like 50,000 views. And this was when I'm like 12, 13 years old. And so this was like my world, man. I was already a YouTuber. Like I was doing exactly what I'd be doing right now if money didn't exist at a very young age. And we moved to a new town. And because I was different, because I wasn't a jock, because I didn't like sports, because I was in my own little world, I got bullied. So this is when the darkness set in. I thought I was weird. I thought I was different. My dad loves sports and I wasn't into sports too. So I was off there. And that's when I kind of just started to push away what was coming from the inside and just focus on the outside and pleasing other people. And that is when my life, slowly started to take turns for the worse. High school, got into drinking, drugs, And then I went to University of Arizona, and then it just got much worse. The biggest party school in the world.
Yeah.
I thought that was normal. I thought that's what I was supposed to do, right? Go party, go get your degree, live it up and figure it out, right? That's what all the cool kids are doing. So I did that. And, long story short, I went there. Pretty much I got assaulted one time, almost died. I got beat up, punched in the face like 20 times. I have stitches. I got a plate behind my eye. I have a spring in there. Just a bunch of crazy shit like that. I got kicked off airplanes before, like I was selling drugs. Like I was a different person, man. And that's just goes to show when you go off of your path, the universe will do a lot of things for you, not to you, to try to direct you back onto your path. But the unfortunate thing is a lot of people just get so much signs from the universe for them, and they play the victim and they say, oh, this is happening to me. And then they just never get back on their purpose. So for me, thank God, I realized pretty quickly, actually, one day after I got drugged and raped, when I was living in Scottsdale, Arizona, I woke up from that and I was like, I'm done. This is I never want this to happen to obviously myself or anyone else. How did I let my life get like this? Let me at least try to fix it. I only live one life. I'm 50 grand in debt. Let me go for it online. And I already knew about the online world. So, that's where I picked up Instagram. I was still working at my corporate job. I graduated in 2018. And I worked at a corporate job until 2019. And then August of 2019, after I've, been on Instagram for about 6 months, I found Gary Vee, I found Grant Cardone, I found Ed Milet, Tony Robbins, all these people that brought positivity into my life for the first time in so long. I realized that there was no more light around me. I was looking for the light. I found it online, but I was looking for motivation around me. And I realized that if you can't find the light, you are the light. So I realized that I had to make a change in myself, and I had to stand up and become the person who I was looking for.
Right.
It was me.
I love that.
That's what I did, man. And it was the scariest shit I've ever done in my life. You caught me actually at a time, at that event. That was my first speaking event ever. I made my first company. I quit my job August 22nd of 2019, and I went all in on social media. I was 50 grand in debt. I got scammed. Actually, I left that part out. I was $30,000 in student loan debt. And then I thought it was a bright idea to give money, $20,000 to these kids that said they would run my Shopify store and run ads for me. No contract, nothing, just gave them money. So naive, they took it and ran. So now I'm $50,000 in debt. And, I was on a mission to get out of debt, get out of Scottsdale, and go travel the world. So that was my mission when I quit my job. And luckily, I persevered and I got it done. And I could keep going into that story, but
that's awesome, man. No, there's so many things there. And even I didn't know, I'd seen a couple of photos with your tattoo. I didn't realize, the Roman numerals were signifying that you're leaving that behind and you're changing entirely. Personally, I did an exercise similar to this. I was like, I need to kind of have an alter ego. If you've ever heard of Beyonce, apparently her stage name, she would call herself Sasha Fierce. I didn't know the symbolism behind it, but apparently she was timid and shy and she couldn't be as outgoing on stage as she needed to be. So she created this person of who her ideal self was. And maybe I'm butchering the story, but when you did that, you kind of had a physical, you can see it, it's visual. Every day it's a reminder you don't want to be who you were, a couple years ago, and that you are someone totally different. And I wouldn't have guessed too, just following you now for the short period that I have, it's the drugs and partying and, passing out or whatever. I would never have imagined that, but that's the power of how fast you can change your life.
Yes.
It's incredible. So
it's
you made
crazy.
a decision, you wrote things down. I think I saw in your video on Leverage Lifestyles as well, you had 6 or 7 bullet points of your goals that you were looking to hit by June 2020 or something like that, right? And you probably hit them all and more, I would assume.
Yes, absolutely. So so it's very important to note for anyone watching this, if you're in an uncomfortable situation, maybe you're trying to hit a goal, maybe you're, trying to get out of your job and you just want freedom. set goals that scare the shit out of you, and buy whiteboards. I had 2 whiteboards in my house. I couldn't afford anything. I went down to the Goodwill and I bought these whiteboards that were all caked up with all this gross grease, and I scrubbed them clean, slapped them up on my wall, and I locked my door, and I stayed in my room literally because I had these 2 roommates that, were just, they were just drinking, doing their thing. And I was like, I'm out. I need to figure my shit out. So, I would just lock myself up in my room and I would write all these crazy goals on my board. $10,000 a month by next month. Buying an Audi R8 by whatever. I didn't even know I don't like cars. I don't even have a car. I just sold a car, but just anything to get me uncomfortable, I'd write it down. So that's what I started doing, man. And I started my morning routine actually right when I quit my job, and I've never skipped a day till right now. Still do it every single morning, non-negotiable, hour at least to myself. I could run through it if you want. Do you want me to run through
I'd love to hear
routine?
that. I've been doing the Miracle Morning for a couple of years, and I've skipped a few. Like, I think there was one time I had a huge stomach bug and I was like, dude, I'm about to barf. I'm like coming out of both ends. I'm skipping my morning routine. But let's dive into yours. Have you read The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod?
I haven't actually.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure a lot of what you're going to talk about is similar, meditation, journaling.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Yeah. You can let me know if any of this has any similarities, but
let's do it. And you also have an aura ring too. So you track your sleep. That's what it starts with.
We could get into biohacks too, because that's a whole nother story. I can tell you my whole routine if you want.
Take it away, man. Hey, we got the time. If you're interested, I love hearing this stuff because what do successful people do? You want to model it, right? So
So guys, exactly what you just said. This has evolved from, buying a lot of books, reading a lot, listening to a lot of podcasts, and figuring out what the most successful people do that I look up to and how I implement it into my life. So this has taken 2.5 years to get to this point. So don't think that you need to go buy all this shit and do all this stuff, because it takes a lot. Yeah. My life has been set. My life is it's like a puzzle, right? It's like a piece of art. I've set up my life how it is right now, but it's taken me hell and back to get to this point where I can wake up every day and do what I'm about to tell you. So basically, yes. So I wake up every morning without an alarm. That's number 1 rule. I always let my body get as much sleep as it needs. But I always do get a good bedtime, anywhere from 9 to latest 11 p.m. So I don't really have a set schedule, but it's in that time gap. So I wake up. The first thing I do is I will go and I'll go to the kitchen. I'll fill up. I have a Kangen water machine. So I fill up 33 ounces of water, chug the entire thing. But I also take a pinch of Celtic sea salt. So Celtic sea salt is basically like Gatorade without all the sugar and all the crap. Yep. It's going to hydrate you. It's going to help you retain the water. So I chug a whole thing of water. I take a turmeric ginger lemon shot every morning. I love them. I get it from this healthy food place. They have little glass bottles. Throw one of them back. And then I have a supplement tray. I do supplements. You guys can write this down because I can't go over all of this right now. But if you want to research this further, look up Gary Brecka. He is the guy who him and Grant Cardone just created a brand new company, and they're going to change the world with health. So basically what they do is they reverse engineer your biochemistry from what you're lacking, and they give you what you need with natural medicine to make sure that your levels are all straight. So if you have anxiety, you have stress, all that stuff can go away. It's all genetic issues, and it's all things that you're lacking that you can get just from supplements. And all these supplements are A1. There's no chemicals. There's no BS in it. This guy is the best in the world. He works with famous athletes, celebrities. He's incredible. So I do that. I take out my tray. I eat my pills. And then I will walk over to, I make a coffee too. I do espresso every morning, just 1 shot. I don't let myself have more. I used to do too much coffee and I get headaches if I didn't have a cup. So I don't like doing that. 1 shot of espresso and I enjoy it. I have a nice espresso machine. I'm packing in the coffee and I love it. I absolutely love it. I sit down on my couch and then take out the most important part. Anywhere I go, I'll always have a notebook on me. This thing is like a Bible, and this thing is full every single day. So guys, this is really all you need to change your life. Literally, a notebook that you can just write things down in is absolutely going to change your life because you hold yourself accountable every day. There's no room to slip up. At the end of the night, you're reviewing it. You're writing a review on how your day went. And in the morning, you're going to do all the things I'm telling you right now. So the first thing I do is I write the date on the top right-hand corner. On the left side, I write a power list. So a power list is something I got from Andy Frisella.
Yeah.
He has 75 Hard that I'm actually doing right now, which is also an incredible program. If you want to jumpstart everything, I highly recommend you do that. But yeah, so the power list basically is 5 actionable items that I can do for the day. So not things like, oh, I'm going to make $5,000 a day. No, you're not. You're going to call like 25 people and hopefully they send you 25 grand. So things that you can control. The first thing is always the most important. And if I can complete that one thing, then I'm good. I've probably done more than most would in a day anyway. So I don't stress out if I don't hit anything or everything. And I'll always just, move that over to the next day if I don't hit it. Below that, I write the 4 agreements. Have you ever read the 4 agreements by Eric Toddle?
I have. It's been a while, but it's a really good, quick read, right? Like 150 pages or something.
Very quick read. Incredible book. And you could write these 4 agreements every day. I live by them. I'm impeccable with my word. I do not take things personally. I do not assume things, and I always do my best. So that's on the left side of the page. Then we venture over to the right side of the page, and under the date, I write 10 things I'm grateful for.
I've seen that on your stories. Yeah.
Yeah, these things change every day. Some days I'll think like more, macro. Some days I'll literally talk about how much I love my espresso machine. So it really doesn't matter. Just do whatever makes you feel good. Okay. And don't make this feel like a chore. Like if you make your morning routine feel like a chore, like, oh, I have to do my morning routine, then don't even do it because you're out of your frequency and you're out of your vibration and you're not going to feel good anyway. It's all about feeling good. I do this because I feel like I'm levitating after. So,
I know what you
basically,
mean.
Yeah. So I write the 10 things. Also very important, set your vibe. For me, obviously, like I said, this didn't happen overnight, but I have an amazing condo on the 32nd floor that looks over the Atlantic Ocean. And, I watch the sun come up over the ocean every single morning, which is like mind blowing, to have that right in my living room. It's incredible, dude. It really does help. Plus having some high vibrational music, like meditation music, you can look up on Spotify. I play like High Hertz, I think it's called. And they have all these high frequency tunes that you can play. They're great. And then I'll tell you my meditation one I do too in a second. The last thing I write in the notebook is the love letter to money. So I write down, how much money I want to acquire, what I'm going to do with that money, how I feel having the money. Money is like your girlfriend, right? If you don't pay attention to your girlfriend's going to leave you. If you're not looking at your bank account, if you're not paying attention to your money's not going to be liking you or showing up for you. Mm-hmm. So treat it the same as you would with your mom, your girlfriend, your grandma. It's the same thing. So that's it. So that's a notebook. Then this is where it gets fun. This is the part that I have the most resistance toward every day. And that's breath work. So I do 3 rounds of 30 Wim Hof breath. There's an app you can download. It's called the Wim Hof app. I think it's like $3 or something. And Wim Hof breath absolutely changed my life. And Gary Brecka recommends this too. Lack of oxygen is the only reason we die. When you get old, you run out of oxygen, you die. If you are constantly filling your body with like an excessive amount of oxygen, especially with breath work, going like 30 rounds of that, man, you'll avoid sicknesses. Sickness can't live inside highly oxygenated cells. It just can't. Right. So do breath work and then do the breath holds and everything. And man, you will feel like you're floating after that. Then you go right into a meditation because your state now has elevated so much. So you do the breath work, you're feeling incredible, 3 rounds, you did some breath holds, you sit down for 10 minutes. And my favorite meditation music that I've listened to for about 2 years now is a playlist called Liquid Bloom. So you can look it up on Spotify. The 2 that I listen to are Ceremony of the Heart. And I believe there's one more. It's like the second one on their page. I forget what it's called, but those are about 8 to 10 minutes each. And so I just listened through that through, obviously just focusing on my breath, just clear mind, meditating. Then I'll walk out on my deck. I say 10 out loud affirmations as if it already happened. These could be audacious goals. I'm a billionaire, whatever you want. These are things that you are so in tune with. You're manifesting, you're grateful that they've already happened. Okay. So that's the key.
Cool.
After all of that, then I will go immediately and I'll go for about a 2.5 to 3 mile walk. So I like to get moving. I wear an Aura ring, as you said, and I like to move a lot. Like when I'm on calls, even if I'm sitting at the computer for like an hour, I'll get up, I'll do air squats, I'll do push-ups. You need your blood to move and you'll sleep a lot better too.
Yep.
So yeah, I go for a walk. I still haven't eaten anything yet, but yeah, I'm just drinking water. By the time I get back, I do my red light therapy. So I have a Mito red light. You can buy them online. I think they're like $700 or $1,000, the one I have. And it basically hangs on your door and you can adjust it up and down on a string. I also stand on my vibrational therapy pad and that thing sends G forces through my body. So, if your spine is, misaligned or, you're feeling sore from the gym, it's going to help get your body woken up. And it's also going to help with your muscles and your soreness. After that, then I'll take a cold shower. And then usually I'm sitting at my desk at around 8 or 8:30. And that's
cool.
where I start to do some deep work, not really focusing on like phone calls or anything yet. I kind of scheduled all of them for like 10. Right now I'm doing more like, okay, how can I make my businesses better? And then at nighttime, I have a nighttime routine. I also just journal. I recap the day, not really a structure, but like, hey, what can I improve on today? What am I happy I did today? Am I proud of myself? Did I live by my values? Was I truthful? So just a quick paragraph, like I did good or I could have done better. Now, the nighttime routine is almost just as important because this is where the sleep stuff comes in and, sleep is everything. So what I do is I do my, obviously I do my journal. I wear blue light blocking glasses. These are so crucial. Blue light after the sun goes down completely throws off your circadian rhythm. So your circadian rhythm is you're really supposed to be in bed when the sun goes down. That's how we used to live when we were hunters and gatherers. We just go to sleep and we wake up with the sunrise. So you want to do that with your circadian rhythm. So please, guys, get some blue light blocking glasses. Cause if you're watching TV and you're on your phone till 11 at night, you're going to be so messed up and that you're going to be waking up throughout the night. I try to cut off all liquids and food 3 hours before bed. So only like small sips of water, and I'm drinking a gallon a day right now. So I pee a lot. So I try to finish that gallon by 4:00 and then everything else is just little sips. So I front load my water.
Okay.
When I go to bed, I do the what do you call it? The Uller. Have you ever heard of the Uller?
I don't think I have.
Yeah. So it's Chili Sleep is the company, they make it. And it's a pad that you place on top of your bed. This is the biggest hack ever, guys. And if you can afford it, this will change your life when it comes to sleep.
Is it called do people call it like a chili pad or like
chili pad?
Right. Okay.
Correct. Yeah. So this is their newest product called the Uller. So it's like a big box you put under your bed. And this thing is a machine that shoots water through this tube into your mattress pad on top, and it drops your mattress temperature down to whatever you want. So you have to test and do some trial and error. But basically when I go to bed, my room is set for 70 degrees right now. I think just because it's wintertime, it's honestly colder than that. I usually have it at 68. So for the first 15 minutes, my bed is the same temperature as my room temperature. When I fall asleep, that thing drops to 65 degrees and my body stays at 65 degrees. Deep sleep, you need to be 5 degrees below your room temperature. And the reason why you're lacking so much deep sleep is because you're too hot. You're rolling around in your covers, you're overheated. This does not allow that to happen. So you'll get a solid 2.5 hours of deep sleep. Then it'll bump you back up to room temperature because REM sleep wants to be room temperature. And then the best part is if I ever make it till 6 a.m. To wake up, usually I've been waking up a lot earlier just on my own. It heats my back up very, very warm, like 80 degrees. So you wake up with a hot back.
That's a pro tip. Well, thank you, man, for jumping through all that. Cause that definitely covers my routine and more with the breath work, you've got the light therapy as well as the vibrational pad to kind of get everything moving. Yep. And then you're doing deep work until about 10 a.m. You do your work day and then you wind down. Obviously you journal about how the day went, how you feel about it. And then the Uller, or I've heard of the chili pad before, but have not added that into my routine just yet. Keeps you cool at night, syncs you up with the, I guess, the REM sleep, the different stages,
Yep.
which of course you can see with your Aura ring. It kind of gives you an idea of how deep of a sleep that you were having and all of that. And then
Exactly.
65 degrees for deep sleep, man. So you're optimizing every area of life. That
Everything.
way you're bringing 110% to everything that you're focusing on throughout the day.
100%, dude. And right now, actually, at this time, I'm in the middle of 75 hard, which, I mean, I'm sure your viewers, a lot of them know what that is, but basically, you're doing 2 workouts a day, you're drinking a gallon of water a day, reading 10 pages a day. You're sticking to a diet, no alcohol, no cheat meals, and you got to take a progress picture every day. So it's extra accountability. And dude, why not do it right before the end of the year, right? It's like the home stretch. Let's sprint right through the finish line. So that's why I decided to do it. And also, I always give that excuse like, oh, the holidays are coming up. Oh, I got cake at home. I want to drink with my parents. No, like, who cares? I just say no. So,
I love it.
Yeah, man, I've been holding off on this for so long. I made it to day 14 the one time I tried, and I drank when I went to Mexico. So right now, this is the first time in my life where like this is number one priority. I don't give a shit about drinking at all right now, which is very, for me, this is a huge step from where I came from.
Yeah, from partying and the college life in Arizona, right?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, I was drinking 7 days a week.
Dang. Yeah, I've got plenty of friends who are like that. I mean, it is interesting to see how fast things can change because a lot of them are doing really well. But then there's also those friends that they're still kind of just living for the weekend and just going out 4 nights a week. And, you're kind of like, what do you guys want with your life? What are you doing? Right. So even I kind of wanted to touch on that one thing you mentioned before the morning routine that stuck out to me when you had roommates and they were kind of drinking and partying. That was your environment that you were stuck in. And so you closed the door and you put up whiteboards and you started to vision cast and dream and plan. And so your environment is so key. And I love like your current view when you're updating like your stories and you see, man, you got a freaking sunrise right there on the ocean and your office set up, everything's dialed in. But I'm really glad that you reminded everyone that, hey, this did not just happen overnight. It took going to hell and back to get to this point that you're at now.
Oh yeah. And dude, like, I love that you brought that up again, because if that resonated with you, if you're listening to this, like, guys, you can create your own environment. Like, I had to recreate my entire environment. I made a checklist. I said, okay, I don't like the people I'm around. I don't like this apartment I'm in. I live 2 feet from all the nightclubs in Scottsdale. This is not good. So what I would do is I had a car back then. So I would really get, driving in Arizona is awesome because you got all the mountains and the highways everywhere. So I would just drive, dude. I would just get in my car and I would go drive. I drive to the gym early as hell in the morning. By the time I got back, I'd be able to make my breakfast before anyone woke up. I'd get in my room, they would leave for work, and then I'd be good. I'd go to my little office downstairs. I'd lock myself in my office, and then I'd go, travel with my buddy. We drove to Mexico. Even when I barely had money, we just needed to change our environment at all times and keep that motivation going up. And, as you just said now I wake up in this amazing environment. And the best part is it's just going to keep getting better. So you just keep advancing your environment because, when you're living in a good vibrational place, you're going to be able to promote even more value to your fans and your people because you're going to be feeling even better. So it's just, everything just gets more abundant. You're able to give more. Once you give back to yourself, you can give it all away as well. So it's super important to set yourself up first so that you can just give abundantly to everyone else.
100%. And even the love letter to money, because a lot of people, you hear money's evil or the love of money's evil, things along those lines. But because you write a love letter to money and all the impact that you can make on the lives of others, you're seeing all the good stuff, not just like what are people going to think if I drive a certain car or if I buy this certain mansion? You're thinking about all the people you can help. Yeah. You don't even care about that stuff. Like you just recently sold your Range Rover, I think.
Exactly.
Right?
I bought a Range Rover, drove it for 2 months. I sold it. Guys, it's not like, if you're thinking that, the good life is all materialistic stuff, you're screwed because right. Once you get in that materialistic game, it's just, you got to keep buying more and more and more. And dude, I'm so blessed that I figured out that like giving value and experiences are like my thing. So I
Same
don't
here.
need anything, dude. I barely own clothes. I never shop. I wear hoodies all day. Like, bro, like you don't need any of that stuff. You just need your business. You need to provide impact and help people. And the amount of value and the amount of good feeling you get from helping someone and changing their life is 20 times better than buying a Ferrari.
Yeah. And I can imagine your experiences and, when you've traveled and all the bucket list places that you're going to continue to go to, that's going to be what you remember, not the feeling of driving a certain car like the first day you bought it. Cause 4 months later, it's just another car to you. As crazy as it sounds, for people who are listening, who are like, yeah, you say that, but I've never had a Lambo or whatever. But like, still, I hear this constantly from people, the mentors that you listed off earlier, Tony Robbins, Ed Milet. I listened to those guys as well. And they all kind of talk about similar things. You might think that car is going to do everything for you, but 4 months later, it's just your new normal. It's just a car to you. And you're kind of like jealous of the person who got the other exotic that you didn't get,
It's a game you don't want to play. Trust me.
It never ends.
And look at Ed Milet. Look at Grant Cardone. I mean, Grant Cardone might not be the best example. He's kind of.
He's got a
but
jet
look
with
at
his name.
Look at Ed Milet and look at Tony Robbins. Like these guys, when they're talking on their camera, you're getting so inspired. You're following them like crazy. They're not flashing their jets, their watches, their cars. They're literally sitting on the couch like me and you would, and they're on podcast 24/7. Like,
yeah,
even though they have the nice stuff, guys, your life doesn't get that much different. We still got to live. We still could die. We still get sick. Like, you still got to be a person. It's just like when you made it and you have nice shit, doesn't mean like life's done and you completed the game. Like, you got to live. You got to go harder and harder every day to provide more and more value. So like, honestly, dude, like what I say is like, if you want that life, you pay the price, and the price is big for these kinds of lives. Like you might be wishing for it, and then you get there and you're like, oh shit, I can't do this. So like, I pay the damn price every single day. That's why my life looks exactly how it looks like, because I pay the price. It's just simple.
Absolutely. And you're making those sacrifices daily for all those in the audience who have gone through 75 hard. I mean, it's the little things, right? And that's the same thing with life. You can slip up. If you forget to take your picture, you got to restart. If you accidentally eat a cookie, like you broke your diet, you got to restart. Yep. And I think there's a lot of symbolism for life too, because it's all these little things that seemingly don't matter that really stack up over time, either both good or bad. If you're doing the right thing, you're waking up before the sun rises, you're doing your morning routine, you're connecting with people, you're doing that over time, it's going to compound and result in an amazing outcome. But if you're hitting snooze, or you're sleeping till noon, or you're staying up playing video games till 3 a.m., and you do that for a couple of years, I mean, I kind of had my fair share of that in college too. It stacks up and it kind of maybe slows you down a little bit more because someone else is waking up early, they're working while you're resting. So it's just really like how do you create that internal energy type thing, which of course you do through your sleep routines and your morning routines that gets you primed in that state.
Exactly.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And so how's the rest of the year looking? You already got 2022 planned out, I assume, just for Leverage Lifestyles and all the projects you got going on?
Yeah. So the rest of the year, I mean, dude, I don't even look at it like in years or months. I'm just like, it's just like weeks.
Is it getting better?
What's this week? It's like, I don't plan too far ahead because the world is changing way too fast. And a lot of it isn't good either, like it's so uncertain. So unfortunately, that's just kind of how we all have to live our lives. But my main focus right now is removing myself from my business, which is the Leverage Investments one, because I'm heavily involved in all of the sales, all the marketing. I absolutely love storying on Instagram, as you know. So that's fine. I'm going to continue doing that, but we're going to hire a sales team. We're going to automate our systems a little more. That way I can focus 100% of my energy on creating YouTubes. So I'm going to be dropping 4 YouTubes a week on a lot of the value we're talking about now, just professionally filmed, studio lighting. I just invested in a brand new videographer team. They actually work with Mark Moss and Robert Kiyosaki. So I'm super excited. They know how to scale these guys. I mean, Robert Kiyosaki has like 1 million on YouTube, and Mark Moss has like 350,000. So yeah, first goal in my head is hit 100,000 YouTube subscribers. And man, once I get there, life will just keep getting better because, you're doing what you love every day, providing the most impact. And right now, creating content is like the number one income producing activity and just my favorite thing to do. As I told you, I created a YouTube in 2008. Unfortunately, I got bullied off of the platform, got my account deleted. Now I'm back. Like, I'm here to fulfill my destiny. I'm a content creator. I believe I'm an artist. So this is what I want to do for a living.
Yeah. That's what I've heard so many people say, is that content creation is like their main job. Having conversations, recording it, capturing the video and the audio. And obviously you can leverage with the help of people who have scaled other, channels like Robert Kiyosaki's up, but you get to focus because you can't really outsource that part. Like you talking to me right now, at least right, maybe in the metaverse, I don't know how things are going to play out there. Like you can just program your thoughts into like a CGI person who talks to somebody else.
Probably.
But as of now, that's the thing that you can't really outsource. Like I can't have my VA in the Philippines do this interview because then it wouldn't be me as the host. It would be her, right? So we're focusing on our highest and best use stuff, teaching people, spreading the message, sharing our stories, but utilizing leverage through team members, through videographers, through people who like you're not sitting there editing your videos for 5 hours a day. Like you're finding the right people, the who, not the how.
Yep, exactly, man. I just create the content. I just press record, upload it, and I'm done. And that's all I want to do, man. And it's crazy that like that's possible in today's world. And like the people who actually do that and figure out how to expend all their energy into that are the ones who are the most successful, and they just automate everything else with systems and, good people. So that's where I'm going, man. That's my number one focus. I'm sure my businesses will continue to scale as I provide, amazing value for everyone. And yeah, man, Bitcoin, just buy as much Bitcoin as I can in this lifetime and pass it on to my family. I'll never sell any Bitcoin in my life. And yeah, man, it's just all about, generational wealth and just changing, my entire family line forever.
100%, man. I love it. There's so many great nuggets. I was writing down furiously because I have a pretty good morning routine, but I'm like, I'm missing the chili pad or the Euler, and I'm missing the red light therapy that you can adjust with the string on your door. So lots of great stuff. Because I think you also mentioned your morning routine was a compilation of, you got something from a book here, you heard something in a podcast there. So you can kind of take and tweak things however suits you best, right? Even with the chili pad, like, is it 65 degrees your ideal or 62? You're testing everything because I think we're all pretty unique. And while there may be things that one size fits all, it's usually not the case. So That's the message that I'm really getting here is like, find out what you love, find what makes you happy, and test things. What works better? Waking up at 7, waking up at 6, going to bed at 9, going to bed at 10, right? So lots of great nuggets here, man. And then buy Bitcoin, obviously, I'm getting onto there. I've been hearing about it for so many years. I've got so many friends who got onto it years ago. And obviously now everyone's like, oh, this is like real, and countries are talking about it, and people are buying houses and stuff with Bitcoin or accepting it for certain payments. So it's definitely here to stay, and it's worth getting educated on for those who have not yet.
For sure, man. I mean, man, we could talk Bitcoin for 5 hours if we wanted, but yeah, dude, it's crazy. I mean, I found Bitcoin in March of 2020, during that liquidity crisis when COVID was announced, stocks went to shit, everything crashed. It was a fire sale. And this was the first time in my life I had money in my bank account to invest. So it was literally like my divine calling. My intuition to Bitcoin was like, just from day one, man, I just knew, which was so crazy because everyone else is like, this is when Bitcoin was at like 6K, 7K. Like no one knew that, it would be going to where it's going. And I think everyone would know that if they just did the homework. Once again, like it's just all about what you put in is what you get out. So I didn't take it as just some like, oh, this is like some internet magic money that like, is pretty cool. Maybe you should throw a couple $100 in it. I was like, no, let me actually learn this thing. So quick backstory. I bought 5 Bitcoin at $5,000. So I invested 25K, I got 5 Bitcoin, and I sold it a month later. And I made like $600, and I didn't understand it. And I wanted to have cash. I was like still broke at the time. My businesses weren't doing too crazy. So that was all my money. And I was like not comfortable having it in something I didn't know about. So I sold it. I took the cash back. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to invest in anything else until I truly understand it. And I'm going to do it for the long term when I do decide to invest in something. So I did extensive research. I looked into real estate. I looked into gold. I looked into the stock market. I looked into S&P. I looked into mutual funds. I looked into everything, dude. And I realized that everything was manipulated, money printing. I realized that it was all centralized bullshit that could be manipulated. So went back to the drawing boards with Bitcoin, and I dove down a 2-month rabbit hole. And I popped out with the conclusion that, holy shit, this is the answer. This is the answer that's going to change the world. And over time, you know, this was when my conviction was pretty much made. But I just started, putting like 10 grand in, 20 grand in, 30 grand in and I would just slowly over time. But as I continue to learn, what happens is as your knowledge goes up, your net worth goes up in Bitcoin too, like dumping into Bitcoin. So your entire network should be going into Bitcoin while your knowledge is going up. And that's kind of what happened to me. It got to the point where I was actually then taking out loans against my Bitcoin to buy Bitcoin because I didn't have enough money. And I knew back at like 8K that this was it. But I was like, I wasn't making enough. Obviously, I wanted to buy like hundreds of Bitcoin. So it was just crazy, man. Like I was running around like, I had my head cut off, screaming Bitcoin to everyone. My dad, he liquidated his stocks. He trusted me. He gave me some money. He actually bought like 2 Bitcoin at 12K and just trusted me. He still holds that today. So yeah, man, it's been crazy. I pretty much put 110% of all my money in Bitcoin. I keep just enough to pay for my apartment, travel, food, my gym membership. And, I retired my mom too. So like, yeah, man, I really like don't spend money on stupid shit. I bought a car, I sold it and bought sats. So like
I'm team experiences over things as well, man. So, I mean, I think that resonates. And I saw a meme saying like, a big house and a nice car are no longer the ultimate flex. Like the ultimate flex is having freedom and control of your time, like complete control of your time. Cause you can fly anywhere tomorrow, right? You can do anything you want. You can go out to the beach, you can go surfing, like whatever activity you want to do, you can instantly do it. And like that's something that most people can't buy because they got to go to a job tomorrow or they already used their last vacation day, right? So that's the true leverage lifestyle. Like I love that name. I'm like, dude, that's cool because you're leveraging other people for your help, like with getting time back, with Bitcoin, with credit, how to apply for credit. You're even leveraging Bitcoin and like getting loans against it to buy more Bitcoin. That's pretty insane. Talk about leverage. Dude, you're leveraging everything from having people who work on Robert Kiyosaki's videos to edit your videos to actually borrowing against your own leverage to leverage even more. So lots of lessons, man. You're a living example of the stuff that you teach, right? You actually do what you teach instead of just teaching people about the stuff that you don't actually do. So
exactly.
Bitcoin and freedom. That's what you put on the thing when you're like, let's talk about those things. I think we touched on them very nicely today.
Yes. Yeah, dude. It's everything, man. I love it. I absolutely love freedom. I love Bitcoin. Bitcoin just gives you more freedom, man. It's it's monetizable freedom. Like you're taking your energy and you're just dumping it into something that, can be preserved forever. And there's only 21 million. So as fiat continues to be printed into infinity, the only thing that can happen to Bitcoin is the price go up. There's no so fiat has no bottom. Bitcoin has no top. Fiat just means paper money. It means by decree. And it's
like the idea of money. It really doesn't mean anything if there's no belief
fake.
behind it. Yeah.
It's fake. If everyone actually knew what I knew right now and you just snap your finger at the same time, the entire dollar would collapse and everyone would buy a Bitcoin. So real quick, just as there's so much crap going on, with COVID, with vaccines, with mass mandates, with vaccine mandates now. The number one way we could have a peaceful protest is to just buy Bitcoin. If we stop using the money, they have no more power. So if we all opt out and buy Bitcoin and just stack and hold, what would happen is the dollar would hyperinflate and Bitcoin hyperization would occur and we would go to the moon. So basically, there is no top, dude. It's crazy. Like there is no top in fiat terms because there is no bottom with the printer. So like when people say $1 million Bitcoin, totally possible. $10 million Bitcoin, totally possible. $20 million Bitcoin, totally possible. It doesn't stop. That's what you have to realize.
That's cool, man. Well, my mind's being blown because I'm one of those people like at the beginning where you're like, oh, is this Bitcoin some fake money online? Like that's kind of like the level of knowledge that I've been at for a while. I've
Yep.
kind of like known that it's this thing, but like understanding blockchain and how it works. I guess that 2 month rabbit hole that you went down opened your eyes to the possibilities. And that's when you came out the other side, like, oh my gosh. But whether it's Bitcoin or something else, I think the lesson there is that you've really got to go deep, do your homework, do your research, understand something. And that way you can see what others can't because you've actually done the time to read on it, watch YouTube videos, go down those rabbit holes, go to conferences. You were just at an event, people talking about, I'm sure, Bitcoin, blockchain, crypto, all those types of things. So just getting educated and surrounding yourself with the right people who understand what's actually happening.
Absolutely.
Love it, man. Well, it looks like we're kind of at the end of our hour. Is there anything that you wanted to add to share with the audience before we let them know where to find you? Anything that we missed?
Yeah. So guys, just if you want to do something in life, you can do it. It's as simple as that. Just literally put your mind to something, write it down on a piece of paper. There's something magical about putting out your thoughts onto paper. We're the only creatures of all of the universe that can do that, which is pretty insane.
Damn, that's crazy to think about. Like, you're right.
Yeah, there's a dog can't do that, a giraffe can't do that, a monkey can't do that. We can take thoughts from our head, put it on paper, and create it. We create our own world however we want. So you can literally create a life by design, and everything you've been told by the media and by probably your parents, my college, is a lie. So we're all, kind of just shifting in this world right now, where there's like this little small group of 2% of the population who's like actually tapped into this infinite intelligence in their body. We all have this. Everything you need is inside of you. So you just got to find those answers. You got to go deep on your own journey, and you got to break out of this bullshit. And once you do that, man, life gets really freaking fun. And there's a lot of people doing it that I know. So, man, just go out there and just live your dream for real. If you need help, join Leverage Lifestyle. You can find me at Colin Yurcisin on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. If you guys give me a follow, that'd be awesome. Shoot me a message. I'm happy to reply. Help you guys out. And then my website's leveragedlifestyle.com. So you can find my e-commerce stuff on there, and you can join the course, and I can help you with everything I talked about.
Perfect. Well, I will be sure to link all that up in the show notes and let you know as soon as this is live, Colin. So much fire, Bitcoin freedom, morning routine, nighttime routine. There's a lot to be learned here. And I would venture to say that 95% of people, even those listening to me who I've told them about morning routines, they still don't do all these things. They don't understand the importance of morning routines, evening routines, sleep. I posted about the importance of sleep, and someone was like, LMAO, sleep. And I'm like, yeah, sleep's extremely important. Obviously, that person did not research the importance of sleep, because they're like, oh, how do you become successful by sleeping more? It's like, actually, it's very important. So
yeah, so important.
You gotta learn this stuff. So Colin, once again, thank you. Everybody go, make sure to follow him, check out Leverage Lifestyle, and follow the journey. It's just super inspirational, like your morning view, your routine, writing on the whiteboard, writing things in present tense. Like, I'm so grateful and blessed that X happened, Y happened, right? So learning a lot just from following your story. And so I thought it was really cool that we got a chance to connect today.
Dude, thank you so much, Chris. I had a great time. And guys, like I said, just reach out if you need anything, and I'm here to help. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Colin. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for being a listener to the show and for checking out my message. If you've been here for a while, I'm especially grateful for you. But if you're new here, thank you once again for being a listener. Just wanted to let you know, I help people buy, sell, or rent real estate across the nation in the US. I probably could even help you across the world, but it just gets a little more difficult with time zones and setting up times to chat. If you have any questions at all, shoot me a DM on Instagram. My handle is chrisbello_, or you can also go to my website, chrisbello.com/real estate. Again, that is chrisbello.com/real estate. Happy to help any way that I can. And thank you once again for being a listener.